Hello YouTube, Canadian Edge here, and time for another knife review. And the knife I'm going to be looking at today is by SRM, a company out of China, SRM, I believe that's how you pronounce it. This is the SRM 9211, and their motto is stay ready for more. So the 9211, it has a blade length of 3.57 inches. Open, it is 8.33 inches, and closed 4.75 inches. The steel on this, it is an 8CR 13 MOV. Nice lightweight. It's 2.93 ounces. You got G10 handle with stainless steel liners, and the liners are skeletonized to reduce weight there a little bit. And so I don't know if you can see that, but they are skeletonized, and so a nice, fairly nice light knife, 2.93 ounces. The pocket clip on this, it is a right hand tip up, not quite deep carry, and not reversible. So sorry lefties, but you have to carry this on the right hand pocket clip. The locking system on this, it is an ambi locking system. It is very similar to the Axis lock that you would find on Benchmade. And a few other companies now are using it on their knives. And so it has the barrel that goes across there, and you pull back on that and it releases the blade to close. It has a thumb disc on it, which I don't know. I'm kind of mixed about the thumb disc. They're okay, just not my preference. I prefer the thumb studs as opposed to the thumb disc. And it does have the lanyard hole on the back for your lanyard, if you're the kind of person that likes a lanyard on there. You can see also that the blade, it is centered, and we don't have blade play up or down, left or right. It sits in there nice and solid. So this is a bigger knife, as I did mention, and we're just going to do a little bit of size comparison here. I'll get the Ontario Rat 2 out so you can see there's a bit of size difference there. The Benchmade bug out, again, a little bit smaller. And we'll get a couple of the bigger knives that I have in the collection. We have the Tenacious Spyderco, and it's still a little bit on the small side. And also the Civivi Cogent, which again is still smaller by at least a finger width. So the SRM 9211, it is a bigger knife, which a lot of you guys with bigger hands will appreciate, especially on the handle size here, because it is, as you can see, a bigger handle. I have a medium size hand, and there's lots of room for your fingers on there. So good size knife. Sharpness, let's see what this does for sharpness. The nice thing about the 8CR is that it is easy to sharpen, and you can see that the knife does come sharp out of the box, which is good. Always nice to have a sharp knife. In terms of cutting, the good old zip ties, my friendly little zip ties. See how that goes. It goes through it actually pretty easy. So there's, seems to be a decent edge on here. Try the nylon cord. Yep, cut that pretty easy. And pretend paracord, it cuts that pretty easy. So it does have a sharp edge, and the 8CR, It does sharpen quite easily when it gets dull, so put an edge back on it very quickly. Just unfortunately doesn't hold the edge as long as some of the higher grade steels. So I saw this at Warriors and Wonders here on the west coast of Canada, and I thought, well, that's a different looking knife. I want to check that out, and so I picked it up. They are relatively inexpensive. I want to say this was, what, $37, I believe, Canadian. So not that expensive. And I will put a link to it in the description so you can check that out as well. But it had a little different look to it. Thought I'd check it out and see what it had to offer. It's one of those knives I'm finding that people either like it or they don't. And so it's a knife that it's grown on me a little bit more now that I've had it for a while and used it. But I have to say it's not my favorite knife, but it's still, it is a decent knife. Not anything in the build of the knife that is an issue. It's just the aesthetics. I like the aesthetics of it, and I don't like the aesthetics of it. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's just one of those ones that I kind of think it looks interesting, but it's definitely not my favorite. Anyway, I'm rambling on about that. So I don't mind the aesthetics of it. I like Tanto style blades, and so I do like the blade profile. You got the swedge and that down here, and got a bit of a sharpening choil. It does have a little bit of a belly curve to it, and then your upsweep on the Tanto style. I think it's more the handle that throws me off than the blade. I do like the blade profile. Just the handle is very kind of generic and maybe not what I would have put with this blade style, but that's me. So the aesthetics are okay on it. I do like the locking system. I'm a fan of the Benchmade knives, and so I like this style of locking system, and it does snap close. Well, not snap close, but it does go close. There you go. It's just harder to do under the camera. The ergonomics on it are quite good. You got a nice bit of curve here, which gives you the leverage. You do get a bit of purchase with your thumb on the thumb disc. I would again prefer the thumb studs with jimping there, but it does give you a purchase. So this would be a good slicing knife if you were out slicing things, camping and that, tomatoes and whatnot. It would be good for that kind of thing. The grip on it does have a good grip, and I don't know if you can see with my camera, but it does have a textured grip. If the lighting is right, you can kind of see it in there, and so it is textured, and you do get a good solid grip on it. That is one nice thing. It sits nice and solid in the hand, so that's a good thing. And as I mentioned, it is inexpensive. Some of the things I'm not really crazy about. The thumb disc, not my favorite method of opening a knife, but again, not a real issue. It works. It does the trick, and you can open the knife. I'm not crazy about the lanyard hole down here. I wish they would have made it cut off and not had the lanyard hole, or had the lanyard hole in a different position. It does, when you have it in your pocket, you do hit on here with your hand when you stick your hand in your pocket. And while it is rounded, it's annoying. yeah, I don't appreciate hitting that all the time. Otherwise, it sits good in the pocket because it is a nice slim knife, but I could do without this portion and would rather have a deep carry than have that on there. But again, that's me. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention is they made the mount flush with the screws and the pocket clip. They made it flush with the scales so that you don't have that extra wear and tear. How come a company that makes a $30 knife can do that, but you go buy a $150 knife and they still have the pocket clip sitting up, tearing at your pocket? It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's just one of my little beefs about pocket clips. And so I'm glad to see that they did make it flush and you don't have that issue with this. And the pocket clip is fairly slim, so you don't notice it all that much when you're holding on to the knife. One of the things, because of how they've done their lock system, there is a bit of tension on the blade, so the blade doesn't snap out quite as well as I would hope. You can get it to flick out and then flick closed, but it's not quite as I don't know, loose as maybe I would like it to be. You can see this is definitely not a drop close blade. You have to push it closed or flick it closed to get it closed, because there is that tension on the blade. And I understand why they do it. It's part of that locking system. There, you see, I got it to flip open. So it is getting better with use, starting to flip more. But for a lot of the time, I was just having to push it open with my thumb and not getting to actually flick it. But it is flicking a little bit better now. So that'll probably break in more with wear and tear. But it is a smooth pivot. Like there, it works really well. You can feel that it glides. I didn't take it apart to see. I think it's washers, or yeah, that are in there. It looks like brass or copper washers or something in there. But I don't think it's ball bearing at all. So, but it is smooth enough. So when consider you're paying, 30 some bucks for a knife, it works rather well. So yeah, this is the SRM 9211. Stay ready for more. It's a decent knife. If it is aesthetically pleasing to you, this would be a good knife to have as an EDC. It seems to be fairly sturdy built. So yeah, I would recommend it as an EDC if the aesthetics appeal to you, because it seems to be a good knife. I think you get lots of use out of this, and the price is good on it. So for the price and that, I think it would be a great everyday carry. So that is the SRM 9211. All right, thank you for joining me on this review. Hit the like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. If you're familiar with the SRM lineup, let me know. And I'll be doing another review in a couple days. So until then, you stay safe and stay sharp.